Right. Double digits, finally. Episode 10 today of the People of Interest podcast. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet, the intro, because we've got a lot to go through today. But my guest today, she goes by Little P, has been referred to as Miss Celebrity Money as well, which I think was a great title. Unreal title. But yeah, today we are locked in with Miss Paris Jade X. How are you?
Very well.
Good.
Very good.
Lovely to meet you.
Nice
Finally.
to meet you.
So we've got a lot to chat about today. Thank you for coming on, by the way, because I know obviously the kind of direction of the podcast today is, well, obviously not a lot because you do it, but I think the nature of what we're going to talk about is so like hypersensitive in the world of media at the minute, and being on subscription services, which we'll get to later. But I am going to ask you one question before we begin. Are you completely like Fortnite committed, or are you going to be picking up new Call of Duty when it comes out?
Oh, I am going to pick up the new one.
Yeah.
I think Fortnite's like my number one game, but I love Call of Duty. So we've got a special place.
How long have you been streaming for now?
I started gaming like in lockdown. I actually started it because I liked a boy, and I figured
every story that starts like
I figured like the best way to like get his attention and like to talk to him was getting his game chat. So,
how did it go?
Good. And then he just started training me, and then like the more and more I played, I was like, this is lit. Like I love it. And then Fortnite, I only started playing like last year, and I was like, this is cool. So
are you like a purist, or are you like team build, or do you just go straight for the non-build one?
I can't really build.
I
can build you like a little bando house. But like not a chateau or anything like that.
Just some of our
some sort of house. But no, it's good. Like ideally that's what I want to do. That's like my dream,
like full-time
job. I'd love it.
Amazing, cool. How did the relationship go? You don't have to answer that. Sorry, I jumped down your throat really bad. Sorry.
To me, by surprise. No, we're still friends. Just friends.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. I've got no shame in saying that I sat and watched one of the guys that got early access to the campaign, like for the full 7 hours the other night. It looks chef's kiss. It looks unreal.
I was disappointed with the Pacific version. Is that what it's called? I can't remember.
Which one's that?
Like the one that's out now, and it's all like
the Vanguard
World
one.
War.
Yeah.
Ridiculousness.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I don't know how many more they need to make of those.
I'm hoping like it's
we've
better.
got a good history of them now. We're done, finished. No, brilliant. Paris, you've had quite a journey, if you don't mind me saying.
Yeah.
In terms of, I guess, like a body confidence, just owning yourself and who you are. And I think that was a massive reason why I wanted to get you on the pod alongside being, on the subscription service of OnlyFans as well.
Yeah.
Because I think from I guess if someone stumbled across your Instagram from an explore page perspective, you are almost like the finished article, right? In terms of maybe subconsciously,
nice.
But it's subconsciously right. She's got the bio there. She's got like loads of followers. Really nice page, and it's all, as you say, that finished article. But then I actually I bought the episode of yours that you did on the SOS Ex on the Beach body thing, and no, I honestly like them shows. I don't know what it is about them, but they come across as so like a bit cringe sometimes. But yours, like your episode, there was a lot in that for you, if you don't mind me saying. I feel in terms of like that transformation and what you went through with that.
It was sad because they actually cut a lot of like my story. So like my story was so pure and like humble. I kind of just didn't really have confidence. I was bullied at school. Like I didn't really have like a good girl group, and I kind of like got a boyfriend, and then he was always horrible to me. And when that ended, I just didn't really like know who I was. I was just kind of like, I feel like people were giving me attention, but for the wrong reasons. And then, that show kind of came along, and they got me into fitness and things like that, and all of a sudden I just kind of blossomed from it. But it was a really nice journey, but they cut so much of it, because I literally went from being like so shy to being like yes, like I found myself again. And I feel like it was sad that they didn't show all of it, but it was a really good like experience.
You could tell from it. I mean, again, like when I was just like, I wasn't asked obviously about the other lads bit of the episode, so I was like cutting between like bits, and I think I must have got like a total out of like I think it's like 30 minutes, right? 28 minutes, it must have been like 10 minutes for you.
Yeah, so unfortunately, because the other guy on the episode, like he brought his dad on to do, like he did the journey as well, and it was like a shocker, so they took up like most of my time.
Fuming.
So annoyed. It should have been my moment. But you know, it was a good experience, and from that, like that's when I got picked up for modelling. So people saw that episode and were like, oh, should be good for modelling. Was that like a big shock though, I guess, because again it's almost as if like that show almost puts you back maybe into like, if we were looking at it from like a spectrum perspective, if you were maybe at 0, that show maybe put you at 5, and then all of a sudden you're getting offers to do that. Was that like quite overwhelming at all? Yeah, literally. I remember like I had like the episode, we had like a party when it was like released. We had like a release party, and all my family and friends came around, and we all had like champagne and watched it. And I had my phone on the side, and at the time I had like, because I didn't really have that many followers, I had like my notifications turned on, and literally me and my friends were just like looking at my phone, and my friend was like, Paris, like, look at your phone, and it just was like ding 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 ding, like so many people had followed me, and I was just like, this is crazy. It was nuts. And then from that I had loads of messages about like loads of different things, and I was just like, whoa, don't really know what this means. But I went for like my first test shoot, and I'd never modelled before, and the lady was like, like this is really good, like you should do this. How was kind of, or how are you still doing that at the minute? Are you still modelling now, or where are you with all of that? To be honest, I quit for like a long time. Like during like the lockdown period, I kind of just, I feel like everyone just kind of, you were either like a really good like gymming and doing all this and positive, or you were just like asleep. Playing the game like I was like the sleep, like playing games. And I didn't really go to the gym, so I just wasn't like, I wasn't really like feeling myself, so I kind of just quit. But I still do calendars. I've had a calendar for like the last 4 years. Awesome. This is the first year I haven't got one yet, but potentially I might do it. I did say no, and then I might do it. Just got to do it for culture. An exclusive. Right? I might have a calendar. How was it, if we can have maybe a chat about like the modelling and glamour industry, where did it kind of, obviously on the back of the show, where did it start, or what did it look like for you? Because I'm assuming there's different like avenues of. I always wanted to do it. Like weirdly enough, if you look in my yearbook, I was called Jordan, as in like Katie Price at school, because I always had big boobs, so that everyone always called me Jordan. And she obviously was big when I was in school. Like everyone knew who she was. Like she was a famous glam model, and I even put in my yearbook like that's what I wanted to do. Because I just like idolized her. I was like, wow, she's so like confident, she's a businesswoman, like she's I just thought she was really powerful, like in her prime she was. And I kind of I thought it would be like that, like magazines and calendars and all these like glamorous shoots. But when I got to like my test shoot and things like that, that was kind of glamorous. But after that, like you just don't really get like proper shoots anymore. Okay. Like it's just not really an avenue that people take, because realistically, who's reading a magazine? They're not. Like no one's really like, if you look around, like they don't have calendars, they use their phones. So it's kind of like, and where you can just go on the internet and search like boobs. Like it's not really like, you don't have like pin-ups anymore where people are like, wow, like you know, like the mechanics back in the day would have the calendars up of like the girls and like, wow, she's such a pin-up. Now it's not so glamorous because it's like easy to access, I guess. I think I get that. I guess from like, I can't believe it's just that middle ground, because I think when I was at school, maybe like 2008 9, I guess that to me, looking back at this when I was obviously doing a bit of research about the glamour industry before I had this chat with you today, is like that almost feels like that's where it like the breaking point was in some respects, the internet coming up.
because I remember self-disclosure, and I can't believe I'm going to admit this, but me and my mate, we nicked a Nuts magazine once for a co-op. We played football, and then I didn't even know we were stealing it, to be fair. We just like, so I went into the co-op to get a Lucozade. He came in with me, and he's like, George, I've got something on my, because he wanted to put the football like under his t-shirt, and then grabbed it, folded it over, and then put it underneath. And I was like, George, look. I was like, oh my God, I was like, what have you done that for? And then he opened it, I was like, boobs.
Yeah, but also like I think the shoots were really tasteful. Like I think they were like all like pin up, and like I loved it. And it's a shame it's kind of not like that now. It's a bit more of a sleazy market. Like there's not really like, you still have Playboy, but Playboy I'm disappointed in because it's gone down the skinny avenue. Like
really?
If you look
Yeah.
at Playboy, if you think of like old school,
Yeah.
I would have been a Playboy bunny.
I
was blonde, like all of the girls are like busty, blonde, natural. I could have been the perfect like Playboy bunny, but now they're like size 0. It's crazy. Like if you look it up, you'll be like, that's not how I remember a Playboy bunny.
I've come across quite ignorant with that then, because I don't know, for me, and maybe it's just again what my algorithm taps into, and again listening to like hip hop, following all those people and stuff as well, that is like the curvier woman is usually stuff that's associated with that. So for myself, I still see it as that because I love that part of the culture so much in terms of like the music and stuff, so it comes with it. So naturally I guess
I
I'm
think
just like,
his
that's
son
the
ruined it.
going thing. Who?
Hugh Hefner's son. Is it his son that took over?
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
he's
it might
ruined
be.
Playboy.
Yeah.
So I think we need to boycott him.
Yeah, stress. No, mental. But then how does that then, when you see those shifts in what I guess the industry's doing, how does that then reflect for you as like a model? Do you notice any like impacts in terms of like bookings and things like that? Or
I found it very hard to get bookings, and that's why I stopped. Because like I'm not a tall model. I don't do topless, which a lot of people want, and I don't do that. And what was it, like page 3? I actually got turned down for page 3 because she said that my boobs were too big and that my face was too sexual.
No.
Yeah, she said I didn't look like Girl Next Door. So she was like, and I was like, what's it like? What do you want?
Thanks. Like, what do you want me to do about it?
I personally think, I hope she sees this, I think she was a hater.
Mental.
I think she was a hater.
Yeah, big time. How do you deal with that? Like,
I just laughed.
That's mental.
Because I was just like, girl.
Yeah, I bet.
I know I'm good for it. Like, I have a lot of confidence in myself, so I'm not bothered by stuff like that.
What the fuck? That's mad as well. For a woman to say that to you as well. Like,
women are very jealous though, like, especially in the industry. They like pretend to be your friend and they're not really. They just want what you have, or like want your contacts or things like that. You have to be really careful.
So how do you manage that then with like, I guess what is meant to be seen as the leading thing at the minute is like, female positivity and like.
I don't have girlfriends. No. I do, but you just have to. It's in any like lifestyle or any industry though. People. There's a lot of fake people around, and you just have to kind of use your intuition to realize who's actually like there for you and who's your friend and who's there when like it's all parties and fun and like you're bringing them into places. Yeah. Like when it's a boring Sunday and they ring you and they want to chat, and just that's your friend,
Yeah. How is that as well then, actually, that point in terms of the social aspect of stuff? Because again, for me, like just doing like a boring 9 to 5 outside of this, obviously like I've got my work colleagues, we're all sound, moan about stuff and then go, whereas I'm assuming, as you say, because you've got access to like these parties, going to things like that, it must be really difficult to kind of navigate just relationships as a whole, not even from like a romantic perspective, just general.
It's weird because I still have my 9 to 5, like I've not quite let go of it because I'm really like secure in the fact that like I'm like, until I know exactly what it is that I want, I'm gonna stay like humble and go to my little office job. But they think I'm like the Kim Kardashian of the office because I come in with some crazy stories. But I used to go to a lot of these parties, and now like I'm just a little bit more selective about who and what I give my time to. I think if you're the person that goes out to every party and you're seen everywhere, people sort of like get a bit bored of you and they seem like you're like accessible, whereas I like to be mysterious. Like I like to turn up just every now and again, show my face, not really talk to anyone, just sort of like look around and then leave, and then people are like, oh, Like, oh, and you can't touch her.
Yeah.
I like that vibe. I think that's
Okay.
better than being like the town rat.
You said that with some proper vim there.
Yeah.
Is there someone in mind that you...
Someone in my mind.
You go, so it is.
No. I just, sometimes it's good to be a homebody.
Yeah. No denying that at all. No denying that at all. In terms of, I guess then, so how have you mentioned earlier in terms of like the sleaziness of things now. Surely that's always something that you've had to kind of be a bit aware of when you went into it. How did you, when you started the business, obviously, did you have like management or someone that's been around it, or how did you navigate that safely?
I've never had management.
Okay.
I had like a team that I work with, and I still work with. They're really supportive of me. But they're not like necessarily like my management. They just, I can go to them at any point. But yeah, I've always had sleaziness. But even before like modeling, people are just sleazy. So you just have to be really like careful that you're not pushed into stuff that you don't want to do. That's one thing that I kind of say to girls that are like, oh, what advice would you give? I'm like, you need to know that like with working in any industry like this, people are going to try and like push the most out of you. So you just have to be strong and be like, no, I don't want to do this.
Where would you say, I mean, I know obviously you've mentioned like your cut-off point has been like not doing topless, things like that. But in terms of, I guess maybe just going into the environment, not, thinking you're going into what you're comfortable with. Yeah. How would you kind of navigate knowing before you're there that is going to be safe? Because again, I can imagine that there might be, well, I'm sure there has been like some horror stories where girls have turned up for something that they are thinking it's going to be and then it's not been the case.
Me necessarily, like I've never had really a horror story. I mean, I did have like one weird guy when I worked on the MTV show, and he actually got sacked because he was really weird with me. Like he sent me some really weird DMs. But see where I'm like in my own mind, I'm like, this is inappropriate. I obviously can work with that myself, but I would say to like other people, you just need to feel comfortable. Like go in knowing that this is what you want. Like don't be, oh, I'm not sure. You need to be like 100% strong, because if you go into like a shoot with someone, they could be like, oh, take this off and just do this, and oh, this would get you more money. They're very like money hungry, and you just like, just be a bit mindful of that before you kind of just jump into it, because it's a scary business. It's not easy. Yeah,
no, I bet. No, it doesn't sound it. What in terms of like the financial side of things then, because again, I can imagine like the more revealing, obviously, the more the payout is. How have you, is it just for yourself, it just general like morality and what you're comfortable with that stops like that maybe little burning thing in the background saying maybe we should take that step forward? Or have you, what's kind of kept you to being like, no, this is it and this is as far as it'll be?
I think for me, I've always liked I've got a version of myself which is like a facade. It's like like if you look at my Instagram, it's a facade. Like it's a version of me, but it's not me. Like it's a sexy person, and that's, I've always given like that fantasy side, but I don't want to give everything. I've always been like mysterious, a little bit like, and I think less is more sometimes. Like I do think the fact that I don't show everything it makes it a little bit more like intriguing. And I guess, like one day I'm going to want a family and have a boyfriend, and I kind of want to keep some things to myself. So I think it's maybe that stops me being just like, hey, everyone.
Yeah. Take it all.
But also, I guess I just grew up like following certain people, and that's the kind of style that they shot in. They didn't like really show everything. So
okay, that was quite an interesting point you brought up there as well, in terms of, I guess, that like receipt system of what the internet is now. Like once it's out there, it's done. So someone's always going to kind of bring that back. Have you noticed, or has that ever been an issue for yourself, or not, just purely based on like the choices that you've made up to this point?
Yeah, because I just think everyone takes like social media so seriously, and they think like everything that I'm doing, like I must be like in real life, like, and that's why it's really hard to date. But I've had people like, someone sent me a DM of like an old shoot that I did, and it was for like a website where it was like a tease website where they give you like outfits, like schoolgirl and things like that, and they like sent it to me, and I was just like, and like. As if I think they did it to try and be like, oh, I know what you've done. And I'm like, it's a shoot I did like 5 years ago. Like my hair looks awful. Why are you sending me that? And But I own everything that I do. I'm just like, yeah, like, cool. Weird.
It's so weird. I think that's what fascinates me particularly about, like, for yourself as well, is that because my I guess my kind of thought would be, and again, this episode actually, funny enough, was inspired by a conversation I had with my best mate's mum a few months ago now as well, actually, because she's there's 4 of them. My best mate, his little sister, 2 little sisters and 1 brother, and Megan, his little sister, beautiful looking girl. And his mum was like, you know, just saying to the boys, she was just like, how would you feel if Megan did an OnlyFans? And then I thought about it, and for me, like, again, I have absolutely nothing against it whatsoever. You know, go and make your money. I think it's fantastic because, again, in some respects, like, you're at home, you're safe. It's like the content that you want to put out and everything else. And then when she asked in the space of Megan, I guess where like my hypocritical ignorance comes in.
You're like, no.
Flipping tables. Like, no, she's not. Obviously, and I don't think she ever would. But it was quite interesting that, again, like, I think it's fun, but when it's someone that's like close to you, all of a sudden that like changes quite a lot.
Like with my family, they're all really like open about it, and they're all really cool with it. And to be honest, I'm such a strong person that even if they said no, I'd be like, well, it's too late. So I'm good in that sense that I've got a really good support system. But yeah, I would say like boys that I talk to aren't the most supportive about it. And I'm just like, that I think in itself will be a problem in the future, and it has been a problem in the past. But I'm kind of just at the point where I'm like, if you can't respect that I'm making my money, either you pay my bills for me, put a ring on my fucking finger, or leave me alone. Do you know what I mean? And that's what's annoying, is like a lot of people kind of judge, but I'm like, you're not paying my bills, you're not with me, you're not giving me anything, so like, you don't really have a right to like tell me that I can't do that.
Does it? I know you've obviously touched on that part already and how you feel about it as a whole, but is there ever kind of days where you know, maybe if it's not been successful with someone that you were speaking to, that you got like quite a good vibe on, do you look at it and think, it's not worth it now? Like, is there, or is that, or is it just not? Is it just because it's you and you're driving and you want to do it that I guess the opinions of other people don't matter? Because again, like, it doesn't sound like it does as a whole for you anyway.
It does though. It does, because I actually quit it because of that reason. So like, I stopped modeling because I liked someone and they kind of just made me feel like I needed to be like a little bit like invisible. They were like, oh, you're too seen, you're too out there. So I kind of like stripped myself back, and like I took a lot of the pictures I had off Instagram. Like I went really kind of like off the grid. And then like a year later or whatever, because I've only had OnlyFans like 3 months.
Really?
Okay, and that was like the biggest thing. I was like, oh, I'm really scared because no one's gonna want to date me. And then I was like, realistically, even before I had it, people were acting up, like just from Instagram posts. And I was like, and they're not paying my bills. So I'm just like, the same sort of stuff that I put on my Instagram, at least I can get money from it now. So it is what it is, isn't it? I'm guessing one day someone obviously will be cool with it. But yeah, it's not like something that I'm proud to say, like, oh yeah, I do it. Like, it's a bit like, oh, I've got OnlyFans, don't judge me.
Really? Is it?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Because like, you've obviously been doing this way before that started. The
platform has a stigma, and that's why I didn't want to go on it. So I was so against it, and like, I'm still kind of against it. It has such a stigma because of what people do on there. So like, for instance, porn, like they do porn on there, like all types of, like, not me, just like not me, but because obviously people do that. When I've always been a model, I've always been a non-topless model, but going onto that platform, people immediately think all of a sudden I've turned into a porn star. And even like the people that join, they're like, where's the BBC then? Like, I want to see that. And I'm like, I'm like, I've never shown my nipples. What do you think? What do you think's happened in my life? Like, all of a sudden, I'm getting mashed out here, there, and everywhere. Like, what? So it's scary because it's like, I feel like I have to justify it all the time, and it's like, it gets a bit tiring. So it's just like, it's a big platform. You do music, podcasts, all these other things, but you don't see them people getting judged in the same way. So it's just like, just be mindful, like, everyone has different levels. So if someone's doing something, like, maybe just ask their levels before you think like, oh, they're out here doing madness.
Yeah.
Because mine's very PG. There's not anything on there that I could not post on my Instagram and it wouldn't get taken down. So
okay. Have you noticed like a difference with that as well? Like all of a sudden having that Linktree bio in there and then going on to that, has that changed or impacted like the sneakiness that you're getting day to day from like weird DMs as well?
I get weird DMs, like, and you'll notice every like week or 2 weeks I do questionnaires and I'm like answering my DMs because I'm sick of going through them, because I go through them and I'm literally like, you're weird. Yeah. And my main thing is like, say like I don't know you and I've met you out. You're not going to come and ask me the most wildest thing, are you? You're not just going to come up and be like, hi, like, I don't know what to say without it, like, because I'm trying to think of something like less wild. But like, you know, like, hi, can I like sniff your knickers? Like things like that, just like wild stuff. You wouldn't come up to me as like a normal person and do that. So I'm like, why'd you come into my DMs and say these like really wild stuff? Like there's one person that repeatedly asks me, do I like sex? And I'm like, why are you DMing me that? Like 9 o'clock on a Monday morning. Do you not have work? Like, why have you waken up and thought, you know what, I'm going to ask her?
Just horny all the time.
Do you know what I mean? And I think if I saw you in public, you wouldn't even look at me. And you think you can come to my... Just act the same. Yeah. Keep the same energy. It's weird.
Yeah. It's mental, to be fair, because I was saying to you before we started recording, like the questions I got for you from your followers were so tame. I didn't actually get that many either. I must have got like 6. Someone asked me if you're happy that your parents didn't conceive you in Belfast. I thought that was a very... What?
I think someone DM'd me something like this, but...
Yeah, and then someone...
I'm not... My name isn't from France. My name is Greek. So...
And then I had another one that said, do you prefer bearded or clean-shaven men?
Bearded. I do like a beard. I think, like, clean-shaven's a little bit like, you're a baby. You're young, yeah.
And then, what was the other one? Oh, yeah, I think you answered. This person must have asked you this, because I think I saw this one that you put up after they asked me this, is, what's the deal with believing in horoscopes so much? Why is it important to you?
What's your problem? You sound like a Gemini. That's what I'm saying. No, I do like astrology. So I obviously do like a good horoscope, and I do judge you based on, you know, a little bit based on, what's your star sign?
Sagittarius.
Oh God. Okay.
What's wrong with that?
It's my ex is a Sag.
Oh, stress. So now being put in like one whole
psychopath
umbrella.
But yeah, no, it's not that deep, but it's interesting to know. And I do think people have traits, but for me, it's more like I'm not religious, but I'm quite spiritual.
Okay.
So I don't believe in like necessarily like God, but I believe in like something.
Do you use it to ignore red flags?
No.
I'm very like heighten your red flag.
Yeah, I'm very like intuitive, like really like I think I'm a little bit telepathic.
Figure people out.
I can just know something's not right before it happens. I get like this weird feeling. I'm like, they're gonna be a snake, and then they are, and I'm like, I knew it.
But then, would you like sack them off beforehand, or would you just let the snakiness happen so you can be like, ha?
It depends.
I knew it.
All I'm saying is I think I have ancestors that have my back, because sometimes I just know stuff, and people are like, how do you know? Honestly, they're like, how did you find that out? And I'm like, I just knew. Just
happened.
Just knew.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think, the planets sometimes affect your mood. I do believe in the Mercury retrograde.
Wow.
If you don't, research it, because that's probably why you're in a bad mood.
Have you got like stones as well? Have you got crystals?
Crystals?
You got crystals in it? What crystals have you got?
I've got loads. Like, I should have brought them in.
You would have not. No, I would have not allowed you to go through each one. This is not turning into like a crystal rendition.
No, to be fair, I don't really understand the crystals that much. I have loads of them, but I don't really understand them. I don't feel like I connect with them, but I do a lot of like incense. I like incense. I think that's a vibe.
Okay.
I like burning stuff.
What things is that led down to burning like things, like actual like possessions?
No.
People, or is it just?
No, I don't. Just the incense.
Okay.
It's just good. You should try it.
Nah, they make me feel sick. They give me a headache. You know, like Lush, like nah, can't do them.
No, it's
They give me like proper headaches.
You need to like put it by the window and just say something nice, positive, wave it around.
I feel like I've got things to do. You know, it's just like I could be spending my time doing that, or I've got these because I will use that as to like relinquish all responsibilities I have in my life. Like I'm so easily distracted with things. So
if you put it on the side and just, you know,
just watch it.
You don't watch it. You just let it clear the air. You know, clear the space.
Nah, it would give me too much of a headache.
I'm a chilled person, so I think this.
Did you put one on before you came today? Like completely zen?
No, just like this. I've got one in my car.
Have you actually? Did you put it out before you came in? We're gonna go back
That's
outside.
Why I was out the window.
Yeah. What in terms of then, like, how has OnlyFans changed the industry? Just out of interest, because outside of you being stereotyped and oh my god, she's just on absolute crud and smash all the time now, has it like made a massive change?
So there's like two sides to it. I think my personal opinion for what I want, for selfish reasons, what I wanted, you know, like the old school pin-up glamour modelling, I think it's ruined it, because I think if OnlyFans wasn't there, potentially there would still be magazines and there would be things like this. You know, if there wasn't that access like that. But I do agree when people say, you know, girls can get their money, they can work from home, like single mums. I think like a lot of them have come forward and said it's been really good for them. So I'm kind of torn, but I'm more like, for selfish reasons, I think you've ruined it.
Yeah.
You've ruined it. You've made it slutty.
What made the change for you? Because again, I know we were chatting about this before we started recording. Like, obviously last year it was like, hell no, like I'm not. What was it about your perception then that was like no, and then what changed for
Nothing
you to say?
Nothing has changed. Right, I still hate it, and this is what people laugh, because they're like, okay, how can you hate it but you've done it? I still think like when I hear it, I'm like, oh, so trash. Or like someone will be like, an OnlyFans girl, and I'll be like, oh, what a whore. And then I'm like, oh, that's me. But at the same time, I got approached by a company, really, really, like one of them I know quite well, and they're doing an agency where they like basically put you on the platform and like work it for you.
Okay.
And I felt like it was like, when I had a chat with them, I felt like it was a really safe space, and I was like, you know what, I actually have nothing to lose by doing it. Like my pride and like how I'm priding myself is actually not getting me anywhere, because people think I'm doing it anyway. People, no matter what, people think I'm doing some madness. So I was like, realistically, I just need to let my guard down, put the stuff on there, and then make money, because the only thing I'm doing is losing. So that was it. Basically, it was the money. I was like, yeah. Once I saw the figures, I was like, yeah, all right. I can let my pride go for money.
How does, because I know you've touched it already, but like opinion like dividing you on that though, because it's, again, say someone taking this or maybe listening to like a really short snippet, like let's say if I snipped that bit up where it's just a case of you saying the money was enough, so I've jumped on it, it's going to then like throw everyone to, without the context of like the wider conversation we've had. How is it then being just kind of still sticking with it? Because I guess there was, or what was difference in the opinion with the OnlyFans that wasn't maybe there with modelling, or was it not there as much?
Because with modelling, I think you're not making your own money. You're kind of like expecting to get shoots, and you might not get shoots this month, and you might do this, or they might not be what you want. It, like, I was very picky, so I didn't do a lot of like professional shoots. I didn't like them. So I guess with OnlyFans, like, you control how much you're putting on there, what you're putting on there. So like I can go and do like a shoot for myself and take like 10 sets of like different pictures. I know like when I put them out, I'm making money from that. So I'm like, I can work as hard as I want or as less as I want, but I know if I work harder, I'm making more money. So I think that's the good side of it.
Do you think, like, weirdly enough, just going into that money side of things, do you reckon that outside of obviously the absolute crud that other people putting out on the platform, is that another reason why people like really weirdly maybe have a problem with it as well, because actually the
Yeah.
individual of who it is
Facts.
is the money going to there, whereas previously if it was mags, obviously the girls wouldn't get as big of a cut of like the sale of the catalogs, right? Is that, am I right in that?
I do think that, because like for me personally, I've made, you know, a pretty penny on it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I do have to disclaim though is, when I say it to people like I'm making good money on there, people will say to me, oh well, I'll sell my feet and I'll get money then if it's that easy. And I'm like, hun, I've done Glamour for like however many years and I've got fans. It's not that easy. I've built that. You can't just have a random girl from the street. Like, you can, but you're not going to make what I'm making, because realistically, people are paying for the person. So I do have to say that, because a lot of people think, oh, if it's that easy, I'm just going to do it. But I'm like, have you got fans that do people actually want to see? You know, it's specific to the person. So like when people say it to me, I'm like, it's actually really rude, because, you know, I've built up my fan base. No one wants to see your feet.
Have you, in terms of that, how do you maybe navigate having conversation, or if any girls come up to you asking or saying that they want to like hop
loads.
on? How do you discuss that with them?
I just say to them, like, I don't like to give too much away, because I think, I don't know if it's rude to say that, but like, I've worked for my stuff and no one's kind of helped me. So like, not that I don't want to help people, but I'm like, I'm not going to tell you all my secrets and like help you, because you've never spoke to me before. This is what I'm saying. People like to see when you're doing good and they use you. So I'm a bit like offish, but I'll say to them like, if you want to do it, but just know that like the DMs are intense. That's the only thing I'd say.
Yeah,
like,
I was going to say,
the messages are intense. So just, if you are going to hop on there, just be aware that like your interaction and like attention is going to go up. So you just have to handle that.
And going back to, I guess, like the dating thing with that, does that not like stick with you in your mind by any chance? Like, you have like, I guess, like a real large majority of, I'm assuming just lads being proper grim, and then maybe you'll meet one and you'll be like, would that does that crossover ever happen, of like seeing the worst of the worst in your DMs of what lads can be when you're meeting someone as well? Like, does it make it difficult to kind of,
it depends what they say to me.
Yeah.
Because if like I start talking to someone and then because like, this is where I'm saying like it's a facade. Like, I'm a normal person, so if I was out like on a date or whatever and someone started asking me loads of questions like about private stuff, I'd be like, that's a bit much. But that would be like that with anyone. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. It's not happened yet. Yeah.
I'll be honest. Back when obviously you said yes to coming on this, I was like, oh shit, like how many times do I check in to see if she's still good for the interview? And not because I was just like, you must just get hounded all the time. And I was like, I don't want to think I'm a creep.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's just, because of just bearing that in mind. It's just one of those where it's just like, how do you kind of like, for this situation?
I think you just know, I told you I'm intuitive. just know that energy, and you're like, you can just tell who's genuine and who's just trying to be a weirdo. Yeah. So you get a lot of that though. Yeah. I think in any glamour job, like, people think because you're doing it, like, that's your personality. So like, just because you're sexy means that you want to have sex with anyone. And it's really annoying. Yeah. Because I might as well be celibate. Like, I'm really picky. I don't like people. I never go on dates. So like, when people come into my DMs and they're talking wildness, I'm like, what's wrong with you?
It's just the first easiest thing to be like, no.
I'm so stush. You can't get me. Like, what? So it's crazy.
Yeah. People are going to think I'm trying to give them a playbook just for the conversation we've had already with that. So it's like, oh, right, yeah, heard you on this podcast. So how's your day been?
Yeah, the energy's going to be different.
Yeah. All of a sudden, the DM's just going to be quiet down completely.
Would you like to go on a date with me?
Would that work? Just out of interest?
Yeah.
Would it?
But I would have to, like, the thing is, I get asked this a lot actually. It's like, what makes you pick someone? And I'm just like, firstly, I have to be attracted to them. I can't just like, I either am or I'm not. Yeah. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
If I'm into it, then like, yeah, why would I not go on a date? But like, if I'm not into it, then stop asking.
Just leave it. Yeah.
Because I'm blunt. Like, I'll say no, I'm not into it, and they'll be like, why? And I'm like, you're just not my type. Yeah. Like, I'm actually really blunt because I don't want to waste people's time. And I like it when people are blunt with me. Like, if they're not feeling me, I'd rather you just say. So
yeah. Where's like, going into this job as well, you mentioned going on to, in the future, having kids, having a partner, things like that. It's quite interesting to hear you say that, not because that for me, I guess would be like a normal thing. Like I can't do this forever because, I want to have this part of my life, and then that might interrupt it. I appreciate that and I hear it. I just wonder if like the way the world is at the minute in terms of no sis, ignore men, get your bag, like they can shut, they got to deal with it. What's your kind of, or if you do have an argument to it, because you again seem quite like level-headed in terms of it's not appropriate for like that part when I get to that part of my life. Is that a fair way of putting it or not?
I mean, I am very much like ignore men, sis, get your bag, but it is also a facade. I'm a lover girl, I want a boyfriend. Like I'm a simp. Like I'm a massive simp. So as much as I'm like, yeah, do your thing, like if I met a guy and he was really supportive towards what I'm doing, then I wouldn't feel like I would have to. But at the same time, like if I fell in love and the guy was like, look, like I really don't like you doing that, I'll be like, I understand, because it is a sexual thing and people are getting to see like a side of me that's probably you don't want people to see, so I'd understand that. But I'm cool with having that conversation, but like I have to be your girlfriend, and that's where I say to people, I'm like, you're not my man.
Yeah.
Because people try and say things to me like that they don't like it, and I'm like, okay, but are you my boyfriend?
Yeah.
No. So
yeah,
know your lane
and stay in it.
and stay in it. Furthermore, pay my bills.
Yeah, these are also the other criteria you need to reach before I start hearing.
But no, I do, there is a part of me that's very like feminist towards like, what, a guy shouldn't have a say in what I'm doing, but I'm also like, the simp in me is like, oh, I wouldn't want to upset my man, so I would stick by him.
But that feels like you're looking at it from like real extremes. Like and for me, like I look at that as like they're not, it's not compatible. If you're right down that end or right down the other, you're finished anyway. Because if that person maybe wants to meet in the middle, but you're so drilled into being at either end, it's kind of not going to work. Yeah. But then I wouldn't then say for you that you just thinking one day, do you know what, maybe this is enough now because this part of my life needs to happen because that's what I want. I feel like maybe, and if I'm wrong, then please call me out on it and tell me to shut the fuck up. But it's just like it almost feels as if like maybe some girls will be like, oh, you're giving in to like this like idea of like a patriarchy, where actually fundamentally you just want to have a family now, and maybe that's just
yeah. But also I'm old fashioned, so I do kind of get it. I fight with myself a lot because I'm a very strong like woman and I don't like a guy to tell me what to do, but at the same time I'm like, I kind of want you to
just do it. I'll tell you shut up, but
yeah, like, I might fight it, but like realistically I want you to control me. Not to like that extreme, but yeah, I don't know, like for me it's not a passion though. I don't think modeling's my passion. Like gaming is actually my passion. It's just I'm not at a place where I can do it and make money from it like that much.
Okay, that's really interesting.
At the minute, modelling is the easiest, quickest way for me to make money, and I'm good at it, so it's easy. So it's just like boom, but it's not my passion. I don't enjoy it.
Do you know what?
No, it's stress.
And has that always been the case, or has that just happened over like that feeling of not enjoying it like over time?
I think I've always kind of thought it was long.
Really?
Yeah. Like for instance, recently I'm booking like hotel rooms, right, for the night just to chill, but I'm taking content, so I'm spending the whole night there taking like pictures, Instagram, TikToks, like not just OnlyFans, like everything, making the most of it. And it's, to me, that's like working. And people are like, oh, I hope you're having fun. And like, oh, what are you doing, babes? Can you slide through? And I'm like, I'm working.
Yeah.
Like, my back hurts. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm setting up cameras here, there, and everywhere, trying to get the best like reel for my Instagram. Like, this is too much.
Yeah. Is it stress? Because again, as I was saying to you earlier, we see like the finished package of it, and it just looks like effortless. It's sorted, but out of one of those posts, how many would you have like taken like
loads, beforehand? Yeah, absolutely loads. And like I can take like 50 pictures and like one of them I'll like I'm very like particular, and like I try and do the most as well to like get different like poses. Like I was in one hotel and I'm in the cupboard. And people are like, oh wow, that's really that it looks sick.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if you know how much my back hurt for me to be in there.
The angles are like pulling it.
Actually stress. So people are like, trying to I'll come help you take pictures. I'm like, please don't.
Yeah.
Like, leave me be. Content creation is hard.
Yeah. Oh, mad. I just it's so interesting to hear like this side of things, because you, again, going back to like the perceptions of things, and like, you know, stumble on your page or OnlyFans, it's like you get like, it's so weird how you automatically get like this answer of someone.
Yeah.
But then, as I say, like having looked at some of the content that you've done with people beforehand, you know, before this interview today, just to not overlap some of the things you've discussed and you've talked about in them, like you're just like a normal human being.
Yeah. And that's that's what I try and stress to people. I'm just like, I'm just normal, okay? I just, you know, I'm sexy. Just get over it.
Talk your shit, Paris. Tell them.
Because they come to me on such weird levels, and I'm just like, you know, I'm normal. Like, don't be weird, because immediately I'm gonna be like, I'm out. You're blocked.
Yeah.
I use my block button very, you know, regularly. So don't get yourself on that.
how many names do you think are in there now? Like over the thousands?
Oh, thousands. Yeah, thousands. I just have no time for it. See me, like, I'm not a hater, and like I like to put everyone on. Like I like to be positive. You know, sometimes I'll have a little rant, but like most of my Instagram stories, like I'm quite positive. So if anyone ever comes on my page on some BS, I don't even respond to it. I literally delete the comments and block them. So I'm just like, you need to know, if you come on my page with negative, bad vibes, my incense is coming out and you're getting blocked. So just don't waste your time, because it's wasting your time. It's wasting my time. Then you'll make another fake account.
Yeah, yeah.
Then I'll do the same. Like, just
go
stop.
for it again. Crazy.
Do you get hate?
No, actually, I had one. I've had one so far, and I'm fuming I've not had more. Pissed. So
you might get some today.
No, nah, I doubt it. I doubt it's how I know. We interviewed Chizzo a few weeks ago. One of the boys that's like friends with like the Free Shots Tequila lads, and we were just having a chat more in terms of like just making priority for things, and like, you know, sometimes in life you feel like you're too busy, but then between the hours of like 7 and 10 you're probably just sat in front of the telly quite a lot. And he was saying, he was like, look, no, in terms of like fitness stuff and going to the gym, he's like, no one's gym session is taking longer than 2 hours. And then he went through like a 24-hour like bracket of like a day. And he specifically said, you'll be at work for 8 hours. And then some joker commented on it, again, completely blank, like wasn't, you know, fake bot account, whatever, was like, oh, so you're telling people to leave their job, get in the gym. Yeah, really helpful advice. But he specifically says, right, you work 8 hours a day. So you take that from the 24. No one said anything about leaving work at all, but literally like a lot of mine so far has been completely positive. But
that's why I don't talk too much on my Instagram, because I realize when I talk too much, people talk back, and I can't be bothered. Like, it's a genuine, like, I don't get angry, like, so when people are writing anything to me, like, just be aware, like, I'm really not arsed, but it's just more of an annoyance. I'm more like, so boring.
Has that ever got to a point though where you're like, oh, fuck this, I'm just gonna go completely like,
so like
and
there's a picture recently on my Instagram that I actually had to turn the comments off, because I kept getting like really weird hate on it, and like I don't know why. I was just like, it's not even like an underwear one. I'm in a dress, and people were just like doing the most, like calling me trash, and they were like, what's wrong with her upper chest? And I'm like, I don't know, I was born this way. Like, what? But it got to a point, it was that much that I think it's got like 11,000 likes, which is a lot for me. So it did really well. But with the more like attention you get, the more like it comes with extra like hate. But yeah, I just turned the comments off eventually, and I just left it for a bit, and I was just like, I just like a happy life.
Yeah, it's so difficult with them as well, because not that it should matter, by the way, you know, whatever content you decide to put up, and as well because you've been a model and you've been, you know what you're doing. But then I guess there's that argument for people to then say, well, what do you expect with what you're putting up? Yeah. How do you navigate that kind of argument? Because I don't get it. I don't agree with it at all. But it's just, you know, how can I put it? If you were putting some of the content up that you put up on a beach on holiday, no one's going to say anything. Yeah. Because in the context of I'm on holiday, I'm in a bikini and I look good. Yeah. But I guess then it's like when you're, you know, in the hotel and stuff like that, for some reason something can changes. Like it twigs for people, and it's like, what the fuck? It's like, and then why? Yeah. Just why? Have you ever kind of considered why? That's all, like, because I've always found it quite odd.
I don't know. I don't understand people that write negative stuff anyway. Like, you'll never really catch me writing bad things on people's posts. But then I'm a really secure person. Like, I'm really happy and I love myself a lot. So when I see stuff like that, I think there's something in you that is triggering you by something that I'm doing, and that's a reflection on you. And that's how I like take life. If anyone, you know, like sends me an insult about like, oh, I don't know, I'm trying to think of like, oh, you're fat, I'm just like, well, okay, but you could never get me, like, and you have a belly as well, so that's obviously a reflection on you. Like, there's something about me that's triggering you, and that's sad, and I hope you heal.
Wow. It's a weird old world, man. The internet is fucking weird, isn't it?
This is like, I'm so nice about it though. I'm just like, yeah, I really hope they heal.
Yeah.
I wish you well.
Yeah.
Block.
Has your stupid question? I'm not asking this from a mental health perspective of just like the comment that that comes with it, but just generally.
Like, has anything ever affected me?
Yeah, has it affected you? But so yeah, I guess maybe a 2-part question then is: has what you do ever affected you? I guess because of the response from those around you, maybe, but also like, does how much work you have to put into this as well like impact you? Like, have you ever got to a level before where you're like, I need to take a break now because I'm worrying too much about this like social media and like.
No, I think maybe like I used to be like that, but now like I'm all about just growing my stuff, and I'm just kind of like, where I keep myself so away from other people. I've said this before to people, so you've got to like look at your mind as like a safe space. If you take advice from, like, say you've got like 3 friends and you are feeling a bit low or whatever and you need advice, and like 3 of them, you got 3 friends, and like one of them's like, you need to just quit what you're doing, like, you know, you're gonna get hate, like, this is trash. One of them might be really nice, and then the other one might be on the fence. Like, it just clouds your mind. So see me, like, and you imagine like some people let so many people's like opinions and like little 2 cents, like, that gets in your head, and that's where I think like people get really stressed. Whereas I just don't really listen or like ask advice from anyone, and if I do, it will be like one person that I know is like solid and I know like genuinely understands me and like whatever. So that's what I say to people. It's just like, think for yourself. Don't let like other people cloud your mind, because you start to think like, oh, are they right?
Yeah. Could I ask you a question on that? Just a personal one, I guess, because I'm quite similar to that, and also actually looking at my kind of like friendship circle as well. It's really small. Like, I've got no qualms about it at all. It sounds like maybe you're quite similar. Have you ever has there ever been that sense of like feeling lonely because of that at all?
Yeah.
Has this kind of ever, like, what you do?
I think a lot of the time I feel really lonely, and it's because like I'm quite like an emotional person, but I don't like to show emotion at the same time. And like, I'm very open about the fact that I want a relationship, and it's hard to find like a genuine person that's genuinely like interested in me rather than like the fantasy Paris. I feel like when I meet people, they're like, oh, the fantasy version, I want to see you in underwear, I want to see you do this, I want to see you do the splits, and I'm like,
can you do the splits?
Not all the way, but I'm like, I just want you to ask how my day was, and like go out for like, just go bowling and just do normal stuff. So sometimes it's like, it is difficult because it's like living 2 different lives. You've got like the cool life, like you're going out, you're doing this. People are like, I'm desirable to people. So when I go, it's nice. Yeah, it's nice attention. But like when you're going home on a Sunday, you're like, oh, I feel like, do you know the Britney song, Lucky? I always say this to people, you need to research it. And she talks about like being really lonely, but she's like a star. But then like when she goes home, and that's how sometimes like, I feel. I'm like, I feel a bit lonely like when I go home.
And then does that ever result in you thinking like, shouldn't have chosen to do this? Or does it still, you know, the benefits and the things that you've acquired out with it, has it always helped outweigh that at all?
No, I just think I always think I'm just on my own little path, and I think maybe I'm supposed to be by myself for now until like I figure out like what's bigger for me. And then when that happens, I think the right people will come around.
So it's not something that you'd actively search for in some respects, because again, I can
don't like
imagine
to force stuff. No, I don't like to force stuff. I like things to be natural. So I always think like if something's meant to be, it'll be. So I'm not trying to like force anything. I just kind of go with the flow, and then naturally you'll kind of stumble across the right things, I guess.
Would that ever with that kind of natural then wanting to happen, how much do you then consciously maybe think about what needs to be next? Because again, I can imagine for some people, in the conversation we've had today, as much as you're saying that you want things to happen naturally, there's still that internal drive and awareness to be like, but I need to put myself into positions like X,
I've had like
Y, and
3
Z.
midlife crises this year. I turned 30 in May, and I've had about 3 midlife crises where I've been like, I've got no kids, I've got no house, I've got no man, like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. It's hard. But then I thought to myself, like, isn't everyone feeling the same? Like, I'm not alone in feeling that. And I think we've been through like some crazy stuff happening in like across the world. I'm like, let me just relax, because I'm going to end up then like being in a situation I don't want to be in. I'd rather be by myself and like in control than like with some random guy and like a baby that I don't want, and like, do you know what I mean? Like rushing something and like realizing, you know, after I've had a kid with them, I hate you, you know. Like, I actually despise you.
Fuck.
Yeah, like, what have I done?
Get me out of this. Fucking shit.
And I always think like, I want someone to be my best friend, and I think with that I need to feel like completely secure and safe, and like I've not really had a relationship where I felt like that, so I'm like, okay, well, just one day it will happen, I guess. And if it doesn't, then I'm gonna be rich, be the rich auntie.
The rich crazy auntie is like traveling, comes back for the family functions, and then fucks off again. Does with oh god, what was I gonna say? Oh, it's gone. That's annoying. That is so annoying. I guess in terms of just with the going back to kind of, you know, the relationship stuff, it baffles me that people have a problem with it when they're seeing you as if like they don't know.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like how that must be like really frustrating. Or does it come across as I'm sound with it, and then it slowly like ekes away at them?
I think with me, like when I meet someone, like I'm very open. My page is open. You can literally see everything that I'm doing, everything that I'm talking about. There's no like hidden agenda, and I like to meet someone and just kind of be myself. But I think they get so caught up in the social media side of me, like, you know, this person, you know, you go to this party, or you know, you've got all these followers, why are you interested in me? And then they try and do this, like, it happens, it's like a pattern. They try it because they see like the attention, and like, see me, like, even in school I got attention, so I'm not fazed by it. It's called like the pretty bitch syndrome. So like, if you've always been a girl or a boy, same as a boy that's always got attention, you're never going to be fazed by it. If you've had a glow up like mid-20s and now you're getting attention, then you're going to be fazed by it. So I've always been that. I'm not fazed by that kind of stuff. It's always happened. Like, it is what it is. And so then like I meet someone and they see like all this attention, they're like, I'm going to be different. I'm going to be like nonchalant and like not care. I'm just going to, because, you know, she's got all these guys in her DM. She's interested in me, but, you know, I'm going to act like I don't care because I'm different. I'm not going to give her the same as everyone else. And I'm literally like, what's wrong with you? Like, I'm picking you out of everyone, and now you're switching up because you think, oh, you can get attention. Yeah, I can. So like, stop fucking around. Because you're going to get gone. So that's like the most annoying thing. I don't know why they do that. It's like a pattern though. It happens.
But as I say, it's just weird because as you mentioned, like, everything's open and it's there.
So like, I don't know. I think it's a jealousy thing because like all of a sudden, you know, I'll get to a stage where I've gone on a couple of dates. I like the person, they like me, and then they just get weird, and they start being acting like they don't care, and then like trying to tell like, oh, I don't like you posting that stuff, and I'm just like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, but it's there. Like,
and now you're acting like you don't care, so I'm gonna post it more. Because if you're not giving me attention, babes, like, I'm gonna replace you.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's so odd. It's just, I particularly, as I say, with yours, because for me, looking at your content as well, something that I wanted to get into with you as well is that the word responsible with it just seems to come up for me, and I don't actually quite know why it is. I think that, do you know what I mean? But it's just, as we were saying before we started recording, is that there's a lot of people that I looked at asking to come on, and there'd always be something like, no, just in case someone impressionable that was listening to this or watched it, I think you've given a really honest opinion about stuff, and as by the sounds of things as well, it would never be something you would, and tell me if I'm wrong, but like actively promote someone to go and do. No,
I think you have to be very safe, and you know, I do think the attention you get can be scary. Like, I've had stalkers. I've had I had someone turn up in my hotel room once, and this is before I had OnlyFans. This is before I did proper modelling. So this is what I like. I've always had that kind of weirdness around me. God. But I just think, just also like have a backup plan. And I think a lot of people don't have backup plans. Like, if you look at my page, you know, I'm doing podcasts, I'm talking. I write a lot of quotes. I don't release them all the time, but like I make like memes, like quote memes. I do gaming. Like, I've got all these other things that I can do as well as that. So I think, like, keep it interesting. Don't just be all about, like, obviously sex is money, you're going to make the most money, but like have something that you're genuinely interested in as well. Because that's where like a lot of people fall. Like, you'll look at their page and it's just arse.
Yeah.
And you think, you know, there must be something like that is cool about you, that's different about you. And yeah, I think with me, I've got a couple of different things that are different about me, but it's just whether or not obviously people look at that.
Yeah.
They don't always ask.
But it's still there though, isn't it? Like, it's still like you can see it, that is what you're doing, and it's just not all, as you mentioned, just pure cheeks all over the screen. Like,
someone asked me, like, with this year, I went from 20k followers to like 70, I think, 70 something. And they're like, how has that happened? I was like, I genuinely can't tell you. Something clicked around my birthday and I just stopped caring. I just realised I'm 30, like, I don't really care, like, this is me. I just started posting what I wanted, writing what I wanted, being a bit more myself on stories, like, and my followers just went through the roof.
Mad,
like, it's not like a strategy. I'm not a strategic person. My friends find it so funny because they're like, you're posting at the most randomest times, you genuinely don't care. And I was like, I don't. I'll post in two in one day. If I feel in myself,
you can have another. Go on, peasants. There you go.
My friends are like, what are you doing? And I'm just like, I don't know, I'm so done with that stuff. I also like know what looks good on my page. Like, so one of the things people say to me a lot is that I don't smile in pictures, and I don't, because one, I'm not fake. No, I actually can't like fake smile in a picture. It looks really, like, all the pictures where I'm smiling, someone's made me laugh. I can't do it because I look like something's wrong with me. But also, when I have put smiley pictures up, people don't really like it, so why am I going to bother? Do you know what I mean?
So there's still that kind of impact on what is liked from other people, then, that there's a small drive that, because it doesn't seem like that you are that kind of person that's like, this is what they're all liking.
It's work. When I look at Instagram, I think work. Like, I don't put it up just to be like, hi everyone, I'm cute. To me, it's like, I'm going to get these followers on this day. They're going to link to this page. If I've got a stream coming up, like I want to stream something, I think, right, the best way to get people to come on my page and click it is a first trap. And then people say like the podcast is coming up, I'm like, cool, this is getting released. A little first trap. People click that, then they'll be like, oh, a podcast, I want to hear what she has to say. It's strategic. And it's very clever. Like, people think that I'm not business minded, but I'm very business minded.
Genuinely it sounds it. And this is what I was saying to you earlier in terms of like just listening to you talk, like in previous content you've done.
I like to act dumb so people don't like expect anything from me. I like to underplay myself a lot. But it is strategic, and then, you know, it's clickbait, and I know how to work that very well. So when I post stuff on Instagram, it is purely business. Story wise, you know, I'm on there doing shots, like
having a good time.
If you look at my story, you see I smile a lot. But yeah, it's strategic. It's work. It's not real life. That's work for me. So.
And I guess the worst thing about that is as well, isn't it? It's just that with the content that you do and that like sexiness of it and the promiscuity is then, it shouldn't, but this is where like, you know, people get angry with stuff in it, is because like they're seen to be like, oh, she's like taking the piss, but you're not. You're just like, no, dickhead, this is just work.
Yeah,
you're the one that's feeding and buying into this
100%.
so much to think that it's...
This is what I say to people. I'm like, my page is work.
Yeah,
like, I don't care who's commenting on it. I don't care who's liking it. It's just work for me. Like, I'm not bothered. Like, it's funny. I post it and I put my phone down
and it's gone. Yeah. No, fair enough. What kind of, in terms, because I wanted to bust a load of like stereotype stuff with you today, just purely on like the OnlyFans, because I know it's just mental. Like, it's taken a culture like by absolute storm in it. I don't actually think there's been an app that has done that, or like a platform really, other than some like Kanye doing a wild one on Twitter or something like that. But again, that's him, the individual. That's not the actual like thing. So like, in terms of that, what stereotypes have like you come across that maybe we haven't touched on yet, or that just wind you up? Because I feel like everyone that could potentially have been answered just by you talking today and having this conversation has probably been like, oh shit, like there's a separate human being and here she is, rather than...
I mean, it's hard for me to talk on everyone else because I don't know what like people are doing, but like the one thing I always say is like, it's a facade. Like it's just a version of myself. Like, it's like a mask. Like, I put on the modeling mask and then you know, like, it's just vixen mode and I'm just video vixening on the story, you know, and then cool, I'm turning on my game and playing Fortnite, like laughing with my friends. Like, it's completely different people. So it annoys me when people... I think the one thing I get is like, because of the attention it comes with, it's, you must talk to so many guys, you're doing this. Or they think like, oh, if I start talking to her, she's going to sleep with me and things like that. And I just think, just be a normal person. Yeah. Like, I like to go on dates. But obviously I can't speak for everyone in the industry because they might genuinely be into that kind of stuff. But I'm like, just treat everyone like they're normal, because to them it's a job. Like, it's like being a music artist. It doesn't mean... you know, or like an athlete, you know, you could be like a boxer or whatever. It doesn't mean necessarily that you're fighting everyone on the weekend. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the same. It's a similar thing. Like, just because I'm posing sexy doesn't mean that I'm out sleeping with everyone. You know, if you're a fighter, you're not out fighting everyone in your spare time. Like, it's a job. Like, just work it out. Yeah,
that facade thing that you said there is quite interesting as well, because again, just from the perception of what OnlyFans is and things like that, my thought would be is that you would never admit that, as if it's not it's a bad thing to admit. But then obviously it kind of fucks the base up a little bit, right, in terms of, oh well, she says it's a facade, so it's not. But then do you think that's because of the fact you've got so many other lanes and avenues?
Yeah.
That it's just only because of your modeling that's where it all began, so that's where the kind of foundation
it's just the easiest, quickest way. Like, it's and I know that I can long it out for as long as possible, because people just like the person that I am and like to see like what I'm posting. But at the same time, like, anyone that actually knows me, like, I'm not a flirty person. Like, I don't really like a lot of people. Like, I'm not that sociable. Like, when I go out, I'm not like Miss Friendly, like Miss Chatty. I'm always the one in the corner that's like,
I'm gonna go home now.
Something
just edging closer
here.
to the door.
Energy is bad.
You're that friend that everyone realises, they turn around, they're like, oh, Paris has gone home already.
100%. I do that all the time. Like, I constantly leave and I'm like, I walk in somewhere and I'm like, it's not for me. Like, the amount of places I get invited to, like big party, I just don't go. And like, anyone that knows me knows, like, I'm a very like in my bubble. Like, I'm not flirty. So when I get the stereotype of being like, I've heard outside a lot. Oh, she's always outside. And I'm like, because when I'm posting, I'm not posting me chilling. Yeah. Like, for the last like couple of weeks, I've not been out like to a club, probably in like a month. But see, when at Halloween, I'm gonna post it. When I go out for Halloween, I'm gonna post it everywhere. And then people will just, because that's what they see, oh, you're outside. I'm like, yeah, like once a month. Like, are you mad? Why am I going to post me chilling at home, like watching Desperate Housewives? Like, hey, no, like, I only post what I want to post. Like, I'm a normal person. Maybe I should start doing that. Like, this is me going to Tesco's, guys, looking like a rat.
Imagine. What do you reckon would happen? Like, just the response would be like, what the fuck? I didn't come here for this.
Yeah, probably. Like,
unfollow.
What are you doing? I go to Tesco's literally like I've got no job. like that's how I look like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if anyone sees me on the outside world, like in my normal life with my sliders
like,
getting
what?
bread, they'd be like, you dusty.
What's kind of coming up now then, and obviously not kind of explaining, you know, in terms of what you've got in place, but I guess, as you say, going back to like, you know, the social media stuff, and at the minute I would say like seem to just be like that finished article now, like we've like there's
I'm
that
not
peak.
finished though.
What are you not finished with? what comes next?
I've done some manifestations.
Mm.
Now, I don't know if you're into this, but I'm into it, where you kind of like write down what you want to do.
Okay.
So like one of the things, like I want to get to 100k.
Mm.
So I think that would be like a real good, like, I feel like once you get that 100k, you're like, boom.
Yeah.
Like,
Top tier. Like.
you're top tier.
Yeah.
And then from that, like, I want to do more shows. So I've done reality shows, but I want to do ones that actually mean something. I really want to do Big Brother.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've applied for it.
Have you?
Yeah. So that's in my manifestation book, like Big Brother. I think that would be a lit one because I get judged a lot, obviously, by the way that I look and what I do. To go on there and just be me,
Yeah.
I feel like it would be crazy. People would be so interested to be like, oh.
How do you? Yeah, that's really interesting. I guess with the TV stuff is that, again, it's the title of the thing you're going into, which then gives you the stereotype, isn't it? So even before you've got in, you're like already battling it, right? Like,
100%,
here's another one that's on Big
and
Brother.
I would probably get some guy in there that's like male chauvinistic, and you see me, that makes me pop off.
Really?
Yeah, I'd go in because I'm like, what makes you think you're better than me? And it would just be crazy.
Do you know what? One of my friends from school, he's not one of my mates, just know him quite well through people. He's applied for it as well. And I was actually thinking about that. I'd love to see you and him interacting with one another. That'd be so funny.
I think, this is kind of what the avenue I want to go down. I wanted to do more like podcasting stuff, but I wanted to do more shows. But the thing is I get picked up for a lot of dating shows, and I'm like, I don't want to be known for dating.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be known just for like me. So I feel like that would be a really good.
Would that not be a bit difficult though, as you say, with being you? Because I guess kind of shows like, and again, I'm using Love Island as an example, which is a dating show, so I probably should just shut up right now, but they almost kind of, it looks like they almost kind of start to like direct your life in some respects. So is there not that worry that maybe just, you know, going on to TV, that would start, all of a sudden someone would have obviously that you wouldn't give it to them like, you know, willy-nilly, but like having to deal with that, or like the autonomy of being taken away a little bit from the expectations of people. Let's say if you made it onto Big Brother and you absolutely smashed it, like you're kind of having to then answer to the demand of you. And
what, like coming out of it?
Yeah. Do you think that it might then impact how you'd just, I don't know, just navigate that?
I'd just go where the money is though.
Really?
Yeah, I'd be like, what deal do you want me to do? And I'd be like, I'm not leaving my house for less than 50k. Are you mad? I think the thing with me is like, I'm old enough to know like what I want, and I don't like people to control. Like, obviously it would, the money would control what I want to do, but at the same time, like I'm my own person, so I don't do things that I don't like to do.
Okay. But do you think maybe that with the TV stuff, again, just continuing on the point that, because I guess now you control a lot of like what is the attention and also what's seen, because they're coming to you for your content.
Yeah, I think you'd have to adapt slightly, depending on what it is. But you know, if that happens, I think it would only be for better things. I don't think it would. I think it would like heighten everything for me. I think it would be crazy.
Really?
I think you'd be like made. I would get rid of OnlyFans. I'd be like, that would be gone.
Yeah.
I'd be like, be straight on the gaming. Hey guys, welcome to my channel.
Yeah. Like, share, subscribe.
Might just game in the house.
Imagine that'd be it for you then, innit? You actually wouldn't leave, would you?
I'd be like, guys,
just having house parties at yours. You're like mad big house, and just kick everyone out. You'd have one of those massive like duplex houses like LA, right? Just like,
I think we need to get a banner made. Just be like, Paris for Big Brother.
Imagine. Oi, if you got on that'd be sick. Can I interview you afterwards again if you got on it? That'd
100%.
be class. That'd be mental.
I'd be so bougie though.
Would you?
I'd come back in with like sunglasses and I'd be like,
Yeah. Look,
where's my Red Bull?
Everybody's back again, isn't it? Yeah.
Where's my Red Bull?
Yeah.
I'm not doing this without one.
Yeah, George, you said there was going to be a rider here and it is not here. So we're not fucking doing this interview till the
I think I would.
Here.
I'd be a really bougie celebrity.
Would you?
I'm already bougie.
Yeah, but nah, you're not though. You're not.
Yeah.
I don't think you are. No, you're not. I just think you're, as you said, like that.
I am, but I've got levels. Like, for instance, I went to this event and they were pouring like tequila like in all the girls' like mouths, and the guy came up to me and it was like dregs of the bottle as well, and I literally was like, "Are you joking?" And I was like, "You best believe if you want to give me tequila, like I need a fresh bottle." And he did. I've got a video of it somewhere, and everyone was laughing. So like, he got a fresh bottle of Patron. And they were like, "I can't believe you've done that. That's so bougie." And I'm like, "Listen, you have to put out there what you want." And that's what I always say. Like, you have to believe. Like, even like with podcasting, you have to believe that I'm gonna be the best. My shit's gonna bang. Like everyone's gonna. So you almost have to take on that figure of yourself. Like, I'm going to be someone, I'm going to have this, and it starts happening for you.
I do think that's a big thing though, to be fair, because like my job...
Law of attraction.
Yeah, 100%. No, 100%. Because the job that I do as a therapist, like I do like I have to deliver like a few workshops, like psychoeducation workshops, like corporates and things like that. And usually what I do is get the staff to send me emails of what they, questions that they've got. And the last one I'd done recently, they were just asking, how do I get my like manager to like positively praise me more at work? And I hear it, I get it. But then I went into it being like, when was the last time that you gave yourself a bit of positive praise for the job you've done? Like, what I don't like, I get it, but why are you relying on your manager? Because they could have a number of shit things going on for themselves, and you're the lowest part of the tier for them in importance. And then there was just complete silence in the room. And I think it's quite bad because I'm seeing that within just like a therapy perspective as well. Like, a lot of people that I work with, they're exhausted because they're just saying yes to everyone and not saying no. Yeah. And it's coming across as, I can't say no. Like, why not?
You have to you have to put out there like what you want, basically. Yeah. Like, for instance, dating. Like, I always used to be the really humble person that'd be like, I don't mind how much money you spend. Like, I'm so humble. I'm not a gold digger. Like, I used to always be that person. And then it got to a point where like people just coming out with shit dates, like Netflix and shit. That's not a date. Like, what is that? So I switched like my mindset to be like the more bougie version of myself and be like, I'm not coming and meeting you unless, like, I'm not asking for the shard. I've never been, just some cocktails or bowling or something like that. And like, now I don't accept a date unless they're taking me somewhere. Like, it's not even a money thing. It's just a respect. Like, come out of your house and get dressed up. Like, and be respectful. Let's just do something. And I think that happens in like all aspects of life. Like, even like my 9-to-5 job. They were asking me to do certain things, and I was really rude, like in one of the meetings, and I was like, look, if you wanna get me to make decisions that are like business critical, you need to start paying me like it. And funnily enough, I've had a pay rise. So,
but again, it's the worst thing is that I think that in terms of wanting to be taken somewhere goes back to your point earlier of being quite old fashioned, right? In terms that's what I guess I don't know, us. I would say, so you're, what are you, 92? Yeah, so I always say like the 94, 95s is like the end. That's where the end is.
That's where it goes downhill.
Everyone else, fuck. These new generations finished. But it's just, I guess, like, it's that ease of access, right? It's go to the cinema. I've got a Netflix subscription now, so why don't we just do it? Do you know what I mean? Like, I've always wondered whether like the ease of access of things as well then like makes it like lower tier, like
the courtship. I like to be courted, like as an old fashioned person, like vampire times. Like, court me, take me to a dance. Like, what? What do you mean Netflix? What do you mean Amazon Prime?
What's going on here? Yeah. That's always gonna be there, you scumbags. Take me somewhere nice. I will. No. Thank you for today.
You're welcome.
It's been a great conversation. I appreciate you for taking the time to coming on. Glad you got a good feeling of intuition off of me and not a creep. That's a big ego boost, that one. Cheers, thank you.
You can put that in your bio.
Yeah.
Intuition
not
approved.
Freak, yeah, intuition approved. Yeah, brilliant. No, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks.